Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another series of our online TV interviews. And we have today here for the first time with Trillium Gold Mines, Russell Starr, the CEO of this new company. Welcome and good morning, Russell. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, Jochen?
Perfect. All fine. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
And yeah, gold looks good. Trillium looks even better. I would say you give us a short idea about the company. Where are you based and what are you doing?
Yeah, so Trillium used to be called Confederation Mining. It had a $100 million market cap on a 50-50 JV for the Newman Todd asset. We're in Red Lake, which is one of the most prolific jurisdictions in the world. Some of the highest grade, largest mines, the Red Lake mine, of course, is probably the most famous. But key to our Newman Todd asset, as well as our Gold Center asset, we are well within the area of interest for Evolution in terms of trucking or in terms of just being very, very proximate to their mills, which aren't running at full capacity. So if you can find a lot of gold, which we think we have at Newman Todd, you're an immediate potential takeout target.
Fantastic. Yeah, let's get started directly with the Gold Center. And
Sure.
You have, I think, acquired now 80% interest in that, right?
Yeah, 80% interest in Gold Center. And honestly, the only proxy that I can remember that's similar to Gold Center is Gold Eagle. And Gold Eagle was acquired for close to $1 billion by Goldcorp in sometime around 2006, 2007. Because Goldcorp wanted to control that jurisdiction, and Gold Eagle had this postage stamp of a property that was the continuation of one of Goldcorp's mines. Well, lo and behold, we've picked up Gold Center. It's 1 kilometer away from Evolution's headframe, but more importantly, our property boundary is 350 meters away from their historical workings. So if we drill and hit gold on the Gold Center property, it's the continuation of the Red Lake mine, which is one of the largest, highest grade mines in the world. So you can imagine what that would do for shareholders.
Yeah, I could imagine they will knock immediately on your door and want to buy you.
Yeah. Oh, for that property alone, absolutely. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Super. So that means that, of course, you have a lot of exploration work in front of you. That is for sure. Before we start on that, let's talk shortly again about Newman Todd, as you mentioned it already. And I'm aware that you said it already, that was a joint venture. It was worth $200 million approximately in 2013. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now you are controlling, what is that, 83.5% of that, right?
Correct. Look, Newman Todd was a very interesting property. Quite honestly, I didn't know about it, but because of Red Lake and because of how much gold and high grade there is in Red Lake, Newman Todd was being drilled out by Red Star. We were the JV partner as Confederation, 50-50 JV. 55,000 meters of drilling. You were asking why I joined this company. Well, anytime you have 55,000 meters of historical drilling, and get this, 41% of every single drill hole hit greater than 10 grams per ton.
Wow.
So you can see why in 2013 it was a $200 million asset or $100 million in each equal JV partner. We now own 83.5% of that. So if you're comparing apples to apples, and quite frankly, it's honestly a better gold environment right now, even though juniors haven't really moved. That would translate into almost $170 million market cap just for Newman Todd. So we're trading, in my opinion, at a substantial discount to where we should be just for Newman Todd. And then we've added in, as I mentioned, Gold Center, which truly could be a game changer, as well as Leo, which is 15 kilometers away from Dixie, the Dixie future mine. I think it's going to be of Great Bear. And then we picked up 6,000 hectares of property on that same greenstone belt close to Dixie as well. So, you know, the sum of the parts just doesn't make sense right now at a $40 million market cap.
Yeah, it must be much higher, I would suggest. This is also the reason why I'm a shareholder here, just for disclosure reasons also. And this is why we like the company. I mean, both of us know us a long time, and I'm pretty sure that you guys will really pursue that on a high-speed path. Yeah, so then maybe we should talk about the work program, which should upcome. Where do you want to drill? How many meters do you want to drill? Or let's say, what is the game plan for that for the next 6 months to 9 months?
Well, first and foremost, I should point to our most recent drill program. We only had $1.5 million in the bank 3 months ago, and we embarked on a 3,000 meter drill program and tested a few different geological theories. Lo and behold, immediately we hit a plus 100 gram per ton hole. The market didn't seem to care, which baffles me, because when you have 55,000 meters of drilling, I think one of the best intersections historically was 30 or 40 meters of almost 12 grams per ton. I mean, these are world-class intersections. And then you have another 100 gram per ton hole in a very small drill program. You're clearly onto something. So we just raised $13 million, oversubscribed. We only wanted 8. We ended up taking 13, and we still had cutbacks. We're going to embark on a pretty aggressive drill campaign. We're going to do 25 to 30,000 meters. And quite honestly, if we continue to hit the way we recently hit at Newman Todd, we will do more than that. We've acquired another small property package right beside Newman Todd called Rivard. And literally, I was just on site. Everywhere you walk on visible gold. Literally, there are veins, quartz veins everywhere. And the family that ran it, it was a private family called the Rivard family. They would walk around with literally sticks of dynamite and augers. They'd drill little holes into these veins and then blast the rock and pick up the VG. So it's funny. No one's ever been able to put Newman Todd and Rivard together, but the funny analogy I always say to people is, imagine if you had the #1 sprinter in the world, Usain Bolt, fastest man alive, and he married the #1 supermodel in the world. That's what Newman Todd and Rivard, their babies, should look like. So you have these high-grade veins cresting into this massive structure at Newman Todd, and you should think that when they interact with each other, you get incredible amounts of gold, but no one's ever been able to drill that because Rivard's being owned by a family and Newman Todd was owned by 2 different companies sharing a 50-50 JV. Now we control all of it. So, investors should look forward to some very meaningful intersections.
Mm-hmm, fantastic. So when can we expect, let's say, the first real big results then?
Well, we're as I said, we're embarking on the drill program now, and turnaround times in Red Lake are actually quite quick because there's a lab and it's been such a prolific jurisdiction historically. So you should see results within a month.
Oh, wow, super. So that's well before Christmas. So maybe you do us a very nice Christmas present.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I really hope so. Okay, then let's talk also about you said already $13 million you did an oversubscribed financing, and I think you did it completely right, because that's a unwritten rule in the exploration business. When money is thrown at you, you take it.
A bit more.
That is for sure. And I think well done, because if you start to hit, you can also enlarge the drill program, and you can say, okay, maybe you want to add 1 or 2 more rigs. Right, so you are in that position to do so.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And I also saw in your presentation that management holds 45% of the company. Was that given to you? Did you pay for that? How did that work?
No, everybody's bought their shares, and it's being done over time. But the reality is the vast majority of the junior to small cap to mid-tier space has had to blow up their share structures just to stay alive. No one has cared about this industry for a decade. You and I were just talking about that before we got on. I mean, you and I have known each other since no one cared about this industry, and now everybody's starting to care about it. And quite bluntly, what drew me to this company is structure is incredibly important in any industry. If you have 400 million shares outstanding, it's a lot harder to create value than if you have 40 million shares outstanding. Even after this financing, fully diluted, we only have 47 million shares outstanding. So this is a very well-held company, and like you mentioned, management and insiders control about 45% of that. So even if everybody just decided to sell their stock, you don't have a big float. And then, of course, we did our recent financing, which basically went all institutional. So we're just at the beginning of creating tremendous value for shareholders, in my opinion. We're embarking on a major drill program. My former company, Ivan Bebic and Fury and Oren, they're spinouts. They're probably going to be doing the largest drill program, but they have 115 million shares outstanding, and they're trading at $1.70 or $2. So Fantastic company there, but boy, oh boy, is it ever exciting to be a part of Trillium with such a tight share structure, fully financed for probably close to 18 months. And embarking on, I think, after this election, probably one of the biggest gold bull runs we'll certainly ever see. But who knows about the rest of the world?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this money printing is the next thing that gold will be next year, probably $2,400, $2,500. So this makes you guys even more valuable, but you have to hit, of course, first. That's for sure. But I have no doubt that you, I know, but I mean, continuously. And I have no doubt that you will not do that. Yeah. Because you are in elephant territory. And this is, as you said, one of the best, grounds or properties in the world. To find gold for sure, and so we look forward on that. That is also for sure. Any institutions in your company?
Yes, I'd prefer not. I mean, literally the entire $13 million financing was institutional. It's not worth mentioning names, but what I can say is that the vast majority of the institutional money came from offshore. So the largest order came out of Europe. So clearly the Europeans, or at least one European institution, sees tremendous value. And then another bunch came out of Australia. And it's funny, I was talking to an activist fund yesterday, and the reality is that in North America, most of the people who tended to invest in this space no longer exist. They've all been decimated. They don't have capital to invest. And then the vast majority of the rest of the investors are stuck still believing that they should own Twitter and Facebook and US tech, not realizing the onslaught that's going to occur here near term once this next election occurs. Whereas the European and international investors are fully aware of how cheap the North American mining space is. And they're the ones who are coming in and buying up all the companies. It's a little bit perverse. You'd think that the US would recognize this, but they don't yet.
No, that is for sure. But when they come into the party, then we have a real big party.
That's when we're going way
and
up.
This is when Trillium is maybe at $5 or even $10. Then hopefully,
I agree.
Which we would really appreciate. That is for sure. Just for the end of this interview, can you give us an idea a little bit what might be a foreseeable game plan? Yet let's think. You are neighbor of Great Bear. You are neighboring directly Evolution. Could it also happen that you say, hey, you know what, we have this and that property, or we say, okay, we have this and this amount of hectares, we're going to sell it to them, take a NSR, and then let's move it on, but we get 200 million in the bank?
Look, the ultimate goal of every junior should be to sell to a major. The key to how and when you do that is, I would argue, you should always sell too early. Because you need to leave something on the table for a major. That being said, Johan, as you know from my past, my background, we're a pretty sophisticated management team. We have an exceptionally good geological team. They have over 100 years experience in the Red Lake area. So we will embark on an M&A strategy as well, because as long as our value is greater and more substantial than, call it a neighbor's or someone else's, it would make sense for us to look for M&A opportunities in the space, because if gold is going higher, marginal ounces are going to become more mineable. And that's not to say these are marginal ounces. I'm just saying, look, if you control 50,000 hectares in Red Lake, it's better than controlling 30,000 hectares, because who knows how many more Great Bears are lurking. So you'll see M&A, but yes, ultimately our goal is to create a burgeoning mid-tier and sell it to a major.
Fantastic.
And no one's done that for decades. No one.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this will happen now again, because all the big boys, or let's call it the majors, they are really struggling for future organic growth. So they need to take over because it takes too long to find it.
Well, just for context, the mills that Evolution, I believe, has two. They are not running at anywhere near full capacity. So, as you can well imagine, with gold being where it's at, they would dearly love to run as much ore through those mills as possible. Our goal is to be one of the first people they come knocking on.
Fantastic. Super.
Yeah.
Russell, thank you very much. That was a great interview, great start here. And
Always a pleasure, Jochen.
And I have a very good feeling that we talk early December again, when you have the first big drill results out, hopefully then. And let's say the next big drill results. Sorry, you had already some good ones. And yeah, I said I'm very sure you're on elephant territory, and I really look forward to that. Thank you, Russell.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Jochen.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Russell Starr, the CEO of Trillium Gold Mines, and you heard it. They consolidated, for the first time, one of the biggest properties here in the Red Lake area, and I think they did extremely well. And as he said, Usain Bolt and let's put it together, Heidi Klum, in one couple. This is something like, it looks like the marriage of those projects, and I think this is the future. Strategic plan is really correct and really fine, because this is exactly what you need. You cannot have really diversified properties. Now the world needs a lot more resources. They need a lot more commodities, and this is the right way to do it. The company is fully financed. 13 million was the last financing they have now in the bank, and they will drill a lot, probably 30 to 40,000 meters next year. And also the drills are turning now. We look forward to some good news. And as said, one of the properties they have bought was $200 million worth in 2013. And if you compare that now with approximately $40 to $50 million market cap today, and plus all the properties they have acquired, my feeling is that stock can go much, much higher. I would suggest you check out Trillium Gold Mines. I wish you all the best. Stay healthy. That's the most important thing these days. And we keep you posted on this fantastic company. Thanks, and bye-bye from Switzerland, and bye-bye to Toronto. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jochen.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Cheers.